I think for years we've allowed people into our country, and I believe there needs to be some, method of vetting when they're coming back and forth. But when people are being persecuted in other countries and then come over here thinking that they're going to have freedom, and we're like, get out, get back, we're not going to let you in. No. Yeah. And I don't agree.
Yes, that's how it works. You can't illegally enter into a country.
But that's not your story.
I don't know if that's credible.
But that's not your story.
Can I show you the numbers on my phone?
I don't know where you got that. I'm done being on camera.
Oh, okay. What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. Illegal crossings at our southern border have plummeted over the last couple of months, and in March, we saw the lowest number of crossings ever recorded. Now, this is obviously a dramatic change from Joe Biden's administration, where we saw the worst border crisis in American history. So do Democrats know this? And if they do, what do they think the reason is? Today, we're going to find out. Let's go talk to some people. We're talking about top 3 issue over the last 4 years. These are CBP numbers, illegal crossings per year. Numbers are down by 95%. What changed? What changed?
This is sad. This is honestly, genuinely sad. Because I get it. Everyone has a bias. Everyone. I don't care if you are the most objective person on earth. I claim to be objective. I have a bias. Everyone does. But to sit here and just flat out gaslight yourself and pretend like Donald Trump didn't help the border is just insane. It's literally insane. Every presidential campaign, every presidential term has downfalls. Every single one. Every single one. Trump, when they look back on his presidency, will have downfalls the same way Biden's presidencies, Obama's, Trump's first term, anyone. I don't care who you look at. They had downfalls. And one of Biden's biggest downfalls, objectively speaking, was how he handled the border. That's one of the biggest things Trump ran on when he was going for president. That's one of the biggest reasons why he won, because of how Biden handled the border. That's a pretty objective thing to say, whether you support him or don't support him. So when I see a Democrat who, when asked what changed at the border, and they just refuse to give Trump any credit, it's delusion. It's brainwashing to me. It's delusion. You could be the biggest Democrat on earth and still say, yeah, Biden could have done better at the border. How are you that biased to where you can't even admit when someone that you don't like did something right? When they're the American president. People sometimes forget that the job of the president is to defend America. It's not to defend Republicans or defend Democrats. It's to defend Americans. I hate that biased, delusional stuff. But let's get into it.
You seriously?
Well, I don't know what changed, but that's a problem I have with people. You just started about immigrants and talking about things like that. I mean,
illegal immigration.
The most important thing is climate change.
According to Customs and Border Protection numbers, what changed?
He's lefty. We gotta go.
It's okay.
Trump. But that's not your story.
Can I show you the numbers on my phone? Thank you.
I do not know what changed. I don't know if I believe the data or not. There's a lot of fake data being thrown around.
You're absolutely right about that.
Before I know the source, I can't tell you what changed.
Would you like me to show you on Customs and Border Protection's website the data?
I don't know if I believe that as well.
On Border Patrol's website?
I don't know if that's credible.
What would you accept as credible?
These days, I don't know.
Well, it was already down before Trump came in. But now there's a atmosphere of fear, so it's probably down further.
So
you're saying
afraid
they're
of being
way down?
deported.
Afraid of being deported?
Yeah, because we're not being welcoming and hospitable at the border anymore.
Yeah, it's a 95% reduction, so that's why we're talking about it. Obviously, it's a top 3 issue over the last 4 years.
Right.
Worst border crisis in American history.
Well, I don't know.
Leadership.
I don't know if it's the worst crisis in American history or not.
Border crisis.
I don't even know if that's true or not.
By all available data.
Well,
that we don't trust.
Yeah, everybody's afraid they're going to end up in El Salvador if they get anywhere near us, including American citizens who are overseas.
And including Canadians.
Nobody wants to come here anymore.
Okay.
They hate us. They hate us everywhere.
The president changed, but does that make it? I don't. What do you want to know?
That's my question for you. What changed? The president changed. Do you see that as a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't see it in black and white terms.
Do you guys think that this is then, with that answer, is this a bad thing compared to this?
I think for years we've allowed people into our country, and I believe there needs to be some, method of vetting when they're coming back and forth. But when people are being persecuted in other countries and then come over here thinking that they're going to have freedom, and we're like, get out, get back, we're not going to let you in. No. Yeah. And I don't agree.
Yes, that's how it works. You can't illegally enter into a country. I can't even believe this is a debate. I really can't. We've fallen so far. You cannot illegally enter into a country. This is not a controversial take. This is just common sense. Jesus, how are we even having this discussion in 2025? Jesus, man.
The majority of these are economic asylees. Are you in favor of deporting those people then?
No.
When it comes to people entering the country illegally, should they be punished for that or no?
No.
What do you think?
I think we need to provide more services for asylum seekers. Yes, for sure.
Well, what changed? Trump is back, and he closed the border. And when Biden was here, it was an open border. We all know that.
The President
New
Trump.
president.
T-Dog.
Yeah.
Yep, T-Dog.
Sure. Yeah.
T-Man, T-Money.
Trump, dude. Finally, we get someone with some huevos in there.
President of the United States. Executive order
President
made
Trump.
it happen. And more better enforcement.
Better enforcement?
Yeah. People doing their jobs seriously.
What has changed that a leader came to this country. A real person.
I'm not saying anything.
No?
She's a Democrat.
She's a Democrat? I mean, I would love to hear the Democrats' perspective.
I'm not a Republican and I'm not Democrat, but I'm reasonable. I mean, the reason it stopped because you stop illegal people to come here to kill our people.
They're scared because Trump's the president. So they don't want to come over because they know they're going to get deported and they're going to get found. If they came over illegally, we're going to find them and we're going to get them out. You want to come to this country? Great. My parents were immigrants. My grandparents, a lot of immigrants, but they came here legally.
You guys are married?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No ring.
No ring, but you are showing the American people right now that it is possible, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, as long as one side doesn't say anything.
Okay. So I'm just going to work my best not to make a divorce happen here, huh?
She can say anything. Everything I say, she doesn't answer, so I know she's against it. That's okay.
I think the answer to your question is no one in Congress will get together and figure out a reasonable, logical immigration policy. It's either this side or this side, and they never get together and figure it out.
Well, if it's this side or this side, and you can see the numbers right now, which one do you prefer?
No, what I'm saying... No, what I'm saying...
You wouldn't know it.
She is spitting facts. I will say her last statement was facts. People look at immigration, and I say this a lot. People look at immigration like it's a executive thing, like, oh, Trump is the worst person. The president, the executive branch's job is to enforce the law. The executive branch's job is to enforce the law. So if they're looking at something called illegal immigration, the executive branch's job is to look at that illegal immigration and to literally enforce it. This is a legislative issue and people pretend like it's not. It really is. The reason why there's a problem, the reason why people are so against Trump is because they just don't understand politics on this specific issue. This issue is legislation. If you are an advocate for more people crossing the border, you need to be going to your representatives in Congress and saying, please look at the immigration laws and try to change them. That's the only long-term plan on changing immigration, because expecting a president to do it, let's be honest. There's going to be another president one day who is way more lenient on immigration. That's just how it works. Politics is a cycle. One president is not going to be lenient, another one is. So this debate will continue as long as the legislation doesn't change. But the fact is this: if a president is enforcing the immigration control, that's within his right to do as president. If you want to change, if you actively want long-term change, go to the legislative branch and try to lobby Congress or something.
The gang members being deported.
No. We didn't say that.
We did
Oh,
not.
I'm sorry. You guys are talking about the Alien Enemies Act? Is that what you're talking about, or no? El Salvador, you said.
We're talking about people illegally being sent to El Salvador, and that's made anybody afraid of legal or illegal of crossing the border or even getting
They
near.
don't have to be gang members. You're just if you're brown skinned, you're out.
Well, I mean, there's only been about 200 deported to El Salvador. You guys saw that famous plane ride. You think that's the reason for this plummet?
Well, I think no, because that was recent.
And I don't really like the idea of people being taken off the streets. I don't like the idea of people being deported. Without due process. I disagree with that.
Right. You're talking about maybe the Alien Enemies Act that they were using for MS-13 gang members. Is that what you're more referring to? The people that were just sent over to?
It's not just those people. I mean, it is that because they made mistakes.
I've been talking to people on the street over the last 4 years about the crisis. Yeah. The Biden administration and Democrats said that their hands were tied regarding the crisis. They needed to pass legislation to get it under control. Now, that legislation never passed. We have a new president.
So here I am saying the same thing.
Well,
aren't I saying the same thing? And you've been listening to it for 4 years and nothing happened?
Well, the
legislation. You think it's going to happen now?
Well, the legislation never passed, but we have a 95% reduction in illegal immigration.
But
so was that a lie?
We didn't do it in my opinion, we didn't do it the right way. We built a great big fence and so forth and so on. I think that's all bullshit.
Typically told the Republicans
not to
shut it down.
To shut the bill down. So we would have had that bill.
Right, so there is no bill, but but numbers have reduced by 95%.
Yeah,
was that an excuse?
Okay. You're playing into it. I think we're playing into their hands.
Well, no, honest question. Because if that was the argument,
you're that kind of question. If that shows up on a survey the way you worded it, that would be a slanted survey.
Well, I've been talking to people for the last 4 years on the street, and that was the reason that I heard from everybody. And I'm wondering, do you consider that to be a lie or no? Do you think it was not a lie?
What? What's the statement? Was there a lie or not?
The crisis could only get under control if they passed legislation. The legislation was obviously not passed. There's a 95% reduction in illegal crossings right now.
Yeah.
Was that a lie or no?
I don't know if that's a lie or not.
Yeah.
I don't have the data. You're showing me a chart that you're saying is one thing, but I don't know.
I can, if you'd like, I can pull up the CBP data on my phone if you'd like to see the actual website.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, the answer is I don't know.
Were they lying to the American people or no?
They didn't want to do anything about it.
They wanted
the open border because they had an agenda and game over.
That always confused me. I don't understand the leniency at the southern border. I really don't get it because it wasn't even a democratic thing to do. Obama wasn't that lenient at the southern border, and he was president for 8 years. He's like the king of the Democrats. So it was really confusing. I still don't understand it, if I'm being honest. I don't get why the border was so open. Donald Trump in his second term now is extremely strict at the border. I guess that's more conservative or Republican, but in Biden's first term, he was extremely lenient at the border, judging by the numbers. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know. And I think that's just an objective truth that we all just need to recognize at this point.
Over. Don Trump's in the White House making it all happen now. It's all good for America. Absolutely.
No, because they're enforcing the legislation that was there in the first place. So we don't have to pass anything. We just have to enforce what's been there since who knows when. So we don't have to change anything, just enforce what we have on the books.
I mean, I can't say if it was a lie or not. I just know that he needed help in a lot of ways. It's a lot of this. It's a lot of talk and no action. So finally we're getting action and everybody's upset. I don't get it.
Nobody wants to come and visit us anymore.
What do you think about the gentleman that's Abrigo? That's
Abrigo Garcia.
Right. What do you think about that? Should he be brought back to the U.S. by any means possible?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really interesting debate that's happening right now. What do I think about it? He's an illegal immigrant, connections to MS-13, wife beating.
Who said that besides Trump?
Who?
That's not what the state said. The state that he was removed from, there's no evidence of him being criminal, committed no crime in the U.S. He actually had protection from the courts.
Yeah, I want to make sure we're not talking past each other. because I'm just trying to talk about the facts here. So you're saying he wasn't an illegal immigrant?
Right. He had permission to be in the States.
He was in the United States illegally. He is an El Salvadorian national.
He was granted permission by the courts to stay because he was at risk.
He had a withholding order. He was allowed to be deported to other countries. He was not technically supposed to be deported to El Salvador because he was fearing rival gangs.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. This is what you're telling me.
Well, you asked me my thoughts on it. I'm just laying it out.
Well, you're telling me information.
There's court information documenting that information, as well as the MS-13. Would you guys like me to show you the court documents about the MS-13 involvement?
No, because...
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. And I have other documents if you'd like to check it out. I can also email you the documents as well. So these are court documents. You can read that top part right there if you want to read it out loud.
Has been identified as a member. MS-13. This is from Homeland Security.
And you can see the date at the top as well. So his initial arrest was in 2019. And keep in mind, you guys, I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I do try my best to give people good information. So this is the information that we have available. There's many more documents that I can actually pull up if you'd like. But the initial arrest in 2019, he was arrested loitering with MS-13 gang members. He was wearing clothing that they wear. And there was all... Well, I'm not making this up. This is all in court.
Yeah.
It's not true, though?
No.
What are your thoughts about that document, sir?
I'll do more research.
Yeah.
I don't know where you got that.
What does she mean is not true? Like, you can't just ignore information like this. You can't just ignore it. Oh, my God. We're in a society where people are debating against facts. He's not saying he's MS-13. He's saying he was identified as MS-13 during his initial arrest. So there is a reasonable doubt on if he is or if he isn't. And she's just saying, no, Homeland Security is wrong. Everyone is wrong. You're gaslighting yourself. And it feels like I'm getting driven insane by watching this. But let me know how you think about this. Let me know what you think about this. My name is LFR Jojo, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.